is a little different today. I think I'm gonna like put my hair down. This is gonna be the second episode that I actually like put out live, like me recording or whatever. So let's just do this real quick. I can't even really see, so y'all gonna just get whatever part y'all get, okay? This is about a word. This is not about how I look. So I already prayed offline. I have this lip gloss on, and I don't have a lot on. I just put a little bit on just because I needed my lips to be a little moisturized. But I have on this lip gloss that I got from a local black-owned brand. It's Abella Luxe Cosmetics. It smells so good, y'all. Abella Luxe Cosmetics. It's giving pina colada, like it smells good. I didn't even plan to do that, but I just want to shout out black-owned businesses. She's I believe she's Haitian. I can't remember if she is or not. I think she is, because she had what you call it, a lipstick, a lip gloss, and it was called cremas or something like that. And if you're Haitian, then you know that's like eggnog or whatever, I think, y'all. That was the name. But this lip gloss smells super amazing. I wanted the clear one so I could just throw it on anytime I need to, and it smells so good. Like, I had to just go and grab it before I made this video so I could shout her out. So shout out to Abella Cosmetics. I'll put her website and everything. I'll go look for it because I honestly don't know her personally. But I prayed off camera already. However, I'm gonna pray again because we can't pray enough. But today God has given me the privilege to talk about the power of a choice. The power of a choice. And just as he was just giving it to me and downloading it to me, I'm gonna talk to y'all more about it, so let me not give y'all everything. But that's gonna be the topic, as you guys can see in the title, the power of a choice. It may seem like something so simple, but this is something that is, choices literally make up the direction of our lives. So I'm not gonna go too deep in the podcast. In the podcast already with my rambling. I'm gonna just hurry up and get on. Without further ado, girl, get to the point. All right, this episode I don't think it's gonna be that long. But we'll see how God decides for it to go. My laptop fell in the whole first video, which I'm pretty sure y'all saw. So testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. We in a biddy. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Unleashing Souls. What's good? What's poppin'? Hey guys, it's your girl Tamisha, and I'm back with another episode. Today I'm doing something different. I'm actually recording this episode for our YouTube channel. And I know I promised you guys content on the Unleashing Souls YouTube for a very long time, but just be patient with your girl. You know, we working on it. So I'm actually recording a video right now. Actually recording this video live. So if you want to see my face while you listen to this episode, then you can do so. But it'll be posted up on our YouTube channel, and the link will be down below. So last week we talked about checking ourselves, and I got some feedback. I'm kind of on Instagram right now, but I think I'm transitioning to the YouTube thing. So I recorded like a vlog. I'm not sure yesterday. I'm not sure when it's gonna come out on my personal page, but again, my personal YouTube is in the description box. So just subscribe so you can get like the notifications, so you can find out the tea. Because one thing I noticed is just like on both of my podcasts, I don't really speak personal about, like, I don't really speak personally. I tell you guys about my life and stuff like that on this podcast, because this podcast is very introspective. Y'all, like, I gotta come on here and tell y'all my business and tell y'all what God is like basically showing me. But you guys don't know what's happening in my everyday life, or like what I do or whatever. So I want to share a little bit of that with y'all some more. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's down below. And subscribe to Unleashing Soul's YouTube channel too, so because we're going to be having more visuals happening on there. So last week anyway, we talked about checking yourself and just checking the different idols that we may have in our lives, checking where we stand with God, the things that we have placed before him. And I got feedback because I'm on Instagram. That's why I brought that up, my bad. I was on Instagram a little bit and I saw some feedback that I got from people. So I appreciate you guys for sticking through and listening to that. I really pray that that has legit like convicted you, and God has allowed you, you know, to see the idols that you have in your life, and he is allowing you to get rid of those things and giving you the grace to let go of those things. So today anyway, we're going to be talking about the power of a choice. And God literally was giving this to me, and I was just like, God was just like, the power of a choice, right? And you know how we do with definitions, so don't even act surprised. I looked up the word choice, and choice is an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. And I also looked up the word possibilities, and possibilities mean promise, course of action, chances, and odds. Those were some of the related like words. So everything in life that we do is based on a choice, and we all know this. Everything in life that we do is based on a choice. You wake up every day and you make a choice. And I believe if I'm not mistaken, Lisa Bevere has this thing where she's like, I don't know if it's Lisa Bevere, I kind of don't remember who it is, but in the morning, just count down to 5, like, and hurry up and make a choice. Like, don't allow like your mind to talk you out of anything. So as soon as you wake up, you are making choices. Like, I should have probably looked this up, but I don't know how many choices that we make a day. So as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, you are you are starting to make choices. You either make a choice to pick up your phone, and when you do make a choice to pick up your phone or pray, whatever you decide to do literally directs your day. It literally sets the tone for your day. So if you wake up and you decide to like pick up your phone, check your emails, or pick up your phone, respond to your text messages, or get on Instagram, whatever you see first is literally going to pave the way for however you feel on that day, right? Because you might wake up to a good text message, or you might wake up to a text message that blows you. If you decide to wake up and pray, your day may go completely different from a day where you decide to pick up your phone first. So and that's one thing, that God is such a good God that he literally blessed us with the power of a choice, to make a choice to either pick life or pick death, or to obey him or to disobey him. He literally gave us free will. And that I heard, and I mentioned it before, that I don't know who said this, but I'm quoting it. It says the most powerful thing that a man possesses is his will. And I truly believe that. Like, I say it all the time, because we literally hold our destinies in our hand, because God has given us that much power. So I wanted to talk about the first choice that was given unto man. And that was Adam and Eve, right? So I want to go to, let's see what verse we're going to go to. I want to go to Genesis 2. Genesis 2 verse 9 reads, "The Lord made all sorts of trees grow up from the ground, trees that were beautiful, that produced delicious fruit. In the middle of the garden, he placed the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil." And I was reading out the NLT. And I heard this preached by Apostle Aubrey, and he was talking about, like, he pointed this out, like, why didn't they choose the tree of life? Like, and then I was just like, dang, like I didn't even pay attention to the fact that they had a choice. They literally had a choice to choose between the tree of knowledge of good and evil or the tree of life. And it's just like, how come they chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil? But that's not what we're talking about today. We're just talking about the fact that they had a choice. God literally placed these trees. He placed all delicious fruit. He placed all this stuff. And they had, in the middle of the garden, he placed the tree of life and a tree of knowledge of good and evil. So that like stands to reason that God, they had a choice as to what tree they wanted to eat out of. They had hella choices in the garden. And it just like it's crazy to me how they had a choice right then and there. They had a choice. And we all know, due to their choices, what falls upon human nature now because of their choice. So Adam and Eve, they were presented with many options, yet they still had to make a choice. And each choice determines the next footing. So the fact that they chose to eat from the tree that God literally said, do not eat from this tree, because they decided to eat from this tree, literally consequences took place. Literally, because they ate from the tree, sin now entered the world. So it just goes to show that like with every decision that we make, literally consequences align, like consequences follow, whether good or bad. And yes, these are things that we know, but I want you to like look introspectively, look into your life, look into the choices that you have made, look into the choices that God is calling you to make, and literally weigh both sides and understand that if I take this right or if I take this left, where is it going to lead me? Down what path is it going to lead me? And every choice has a cost. Like every choice costs you something. You can go to a restaurant and you could order key lime pie. And when the key lime pie comes and you like, okay, I changed my mind, I want a cheesecake. It might cost you money. It might cost you some time, because now you sitting at the table, everybody eating their dessert, and now you gotta wait. It's just like, that's just a small example, but just look at it in your life. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you make one choice and it determines the rest of your life. So please be mindful upon the choices that you make. And throughout this episode, we're going to talk about the different choices that the people throughout the Bible took, and what would have happened if they didn't take or make that choice. Both Adam and Eve had a choice to make. Adam could have made the choice to not eat from the fruit, since God specifically told him not to eat from that tree. And we don't know how life would have happened if that happened, or whatever the case is. But when it came down to the wire, when the enemy presented and asked Eve a question, she was also presented with another choice. And that choice was, either she believed the enemy, believed that what he said, like, you already like God, like he's just trying to like not you already like God, but he's just trying to like basically cuff the truth from you. She had a choice to make there, like, should I obey God and not eat from this tree, or should I go ahead and go ham? And we all know the choice that she made, but it's just, there she was also led with the truth, like obeying God or just doing what I think I want to do in that moment. And I know personally, I've been placed in a lot of positions, in a lot of instances where God literally told me something and something else was presented, and I literally had to make that choice. Are you going to listen and make a choice based on what you see in front of you right now, or are you going to stand 10 toes and stay solid as to what God has told you already? And I believe that a lot of us in life are placed with that, like, we have to make that choice a lot of the times in our lives. Like, Am I going to stand 10 toes on what God is saying or what God told me in my quiet time? Or I'm going to take whatever it is that they're showing me? And I can speak personally right now in this season. God is calling me to not take any projects right now. If you guys don't know what I do, I am a creative director and a graphic designer. So if you guys want to know more, subscribe to Called and Creative, the podcast, and you'll know everything that I do professionally. So God is calling me to close my calendar right now and not take on any productions. So as being a creative director, I help entrepreneurs and everyday people produce digital content. So whatever photo shoots, video shoots that they have where they want to create, or taking an idea and bringing it into fruition, basically. And God is telling me to take a pause on that. However, I've been placed in a lot of positions where people are like, hey T, I need your services, or did this person reaching out to me, that person reaching out to me, this person that could probably change the course of my life or the course of my career is reaching out to me. And I'm like, I gotta stay 10 toes on what God told me. Like, my calendar is closed. I cannot take anybody right now. And that's a whole nother episode to talk about. But I am faced with choices that I have to make daily when my life has presented one thing, my bank account has presented another, and God has told me something in the cut. What choice am I going to make? Am I going to make the choice of doing what feels good in the moment, or am I going to stand 10 toes on what God told me in my quiet time, even if what was being presented to me looks sweet and looks nice? You get what I'm trying to say? So I want you guys to really think about the choices that you have to make, the choices that God is calling you to make, and the things that are being presented to you right now. Okay? I want to talk about a few people that were in the Bible that had to make very important choices, right? So we're going to go to Abraham. We're going to go to Abraham, and that's in Genesis 12, when God literally calls Abraham. So the call of Abraham: the Lord had said to Abram, leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Okay, he took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all his wealth, his livestock, and all the people he had taken into his household at Haran, and headed for the land of Canaan. Okay, when they arrived in Canaan, Abram traveled through the land as far as Shechem, and then he camped beside the oak of Merom. At that time, the area was inhabited by Canaanites, and we can go deep. We can go ham in just all of that passage, but I want to talk about the choice that he made. I want to talk about how literally God spoke to Abram. And if you know Abraham's background, his people was basically in witchcraft. There was like astrologers. They like communicated in the stars and studied the stars and stuff like that. So the fact that God literally called Abram and said, leave your father's house. Leave your father's house and go into this place that I'm going to show you. Abraham had to make a choice. Abraham was 75 years old. I believe that's what it said. Abraham was 75 years old. He already has his family. He has his household. He has, he has things going for himself. His life is pretty established, quote unquote. And God is telling him, like, yeah, you going to leave all of this? I got somewhere else to take you. And I'm going to tell you it when you get there. Like, I'm going to show you when you move. Abraham had the choice to make. He could have been like, yo, I'm grown. Like, I'm a grown man. I'm 75 years old. I have a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got all these people I'm taking care of. I'm good. I'm not about to go to no land and I don't know where I'm going. Or he could have made, and the decision that he did make is to get up. Literally, it says, so Abram departed as the Lord had instructed, and he took on his people with him. And because as a result of that, here we are today, descendants of Abraham. Here we are today. God literally made him famous, and God gave him, Lord Jesus, God made him famous, and God made him a blessing to others. You know what I'm saying? Because Abraham decided to make that choice. Now, what if Abraham didn't make that choice? God. Okay, so my what you call this thing? My memory card was full, so I had to like transfer them and do all that other stuff. Again, a day of recording would be a day. Make that choice. God will always. So because it stopped, I wanted to just, I didn't want it to be like no issue. So I stopped recording the actual podcast. Always. So we gonna do, start back from where we left off of. Always. I have some type of irritation on my chin, which is so weird because, you know, you talk about your skin flourishing and then the next day it start acting crazy. Like, I reviewed this. We know that God would have chose somebody else, or God would have just did what he needed to do. So we're not talking about, like, we're going to excuse that fact that God would literally could choose or raise up someone else. We're just sticking to the fact of making choices, right? So just thinking about, what if Abraham didn't do that? Like, what, and Abraham, as you read his life, he still had to make hard choices. Like, his whole life, the rest of his journey with Christ, with God rather, he had to make hard choices, like literally going and sacrificing Isaac. That was a choice. He could have been like, God, all right, now you is tripping. And literally like thinking about like, he was presented with a choice. This is good, God, because this wasn't even in my notes. Remember when Sarah like suggested him, like, all right, God said we about to have a jit, but the child has not been here yet. So like, it's not here yet. Like, I'm old and all of this type of stuff. You know what? Sleep with the girl. I believe her name was Hagar. Sleep with her, Haggai or something like that. And, you know, do what you need to do. Maybe that's how God wanted it. He literally could have he made a choice. He made a choice in that moment. And that choice was not the choice that God wanted. It wasn't. And that, because of that choice, it caused literally, like, you know, the whole nation, that whole other nation that is not God's people. So because of that choice, there's literally repercussions because of that choice that he decided to make. So it goes to show that, like, choices literally determine our next footing. Like, choices, we have to be mindful about the choices that we are presented with and the choices that we do decide to make. The next story I want to go to is Mary. We're going to be reading from Luke 1 verse 26 in the NLT version. It says, in the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a village in Galilee, to a virgin named Mary. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. Gabriel appeared to her and said, greetings, favored woman, the Lord is with you. Confused and disturbed, Mary tried to think what the angel could mean. Don't be afraid, Mary, the angel told her. For you have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be very great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his ancestor David, and he will reign over Israel forever. His kingdom will never end. Mary asked the angel, but how could this happen? I am a virgin. And the angel replied, the Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the Spirit of the Most High will overshadow you. So the baby will be born. So the baby to be born will be holy, and he will be called the Son of God. What's more, your relative Elizabeth has become pregnant in her old age. People used to say she was barren, but she has conceived a son and is now in her 6th month. For the word of God will never fail. Then Mary responded, I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me come true. And then the angel left her. Right? And it just is so much in this, but it's like the angel was telling her, like, yo, Elizabeth, like, she became pregnant. And God did the same thing, like allowed her to conceive. And The word of God will never fail. And literally Mary had, like, she had a choice. She had a choice in that moment to believe what God was about to say, or to say, to hell with this. And even if you read the story of Zachariah, of Elizabeth, and before this actual story, Zachariah, I believe that's his name. Lord, please. I believe that's his name. Yeah, his name is Zachariah. And that was the father of John the Baptist. He was like, he basically was like, he didn't believe that what the angel was saying, what God was saying through that angel, that you about to have a son. So God literally said, I'm gonna make you not be able to speak until this baby is born, because you're not about to speak negatively against what God is saying. So literally, God didn't even give him a choice to speak at that moment, but Mary had a choice to believe this thing or not. And by God's grace, she believed in birthed Jesus and carried literally the Son of God. Another choice was the first disciples. So if we go to Matthew 4:18, Matthew 4:18. One day, as Jesus was walking along the shore of the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, also called Peter, and Andrew, throwing a net into the water, for they fished for a living. Jesus called unto them, "Come, follow me, and I will show you how to fish for men." And they left their nets at once and followed him. A little further up the shore, he saw two other brothers, James and John, sitting in a boat with their father Zebedee, repairing their nets, and he called unto them to come too. They immediately followed him, leaving the boat and their father behind. That story always gets me, because I'm just like, yo, they made a decision off the spot. Jesus just said, "I'm gonna make you fishers of men." And these people had their whole career, and they made a choice to say, okay, I'm gonna believe this man that says that he's about to make me a fisher of men. I want to even know, like, if they understood the depth of what he was saying in that moment, or did they just step out in faith and do exactly what God needed them to do. You know what I'm saying? So that also just shows and has us thinking, like, how quick are we to obey God? And I've been telling God, like, make me be quick to obey you. Like, I don't want to have to know the details. I just want to hear you say go, and I just go. And then when I get there, just show me what's happening. And that, I believe that is a level of faith and a place of faith that we all should get to, and we all should desire to get to. Just having a fear of God, that if he says move, you move right then and there. If he says stay, you stay. If he says no, you say no right then and there. And I believe that's may have been the fear of God in Abraham. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying, like, go. God is telling me to go. I need to go. And I just urge that you all of you guys pray to God to increase your fear in him. And that's what I've been praying, because when you fear God, you will reverence him. When you fear God in that way, you will want to obey him. You will want to love upon him. You want to do what he says to do, because you fear him. You have so much respect for him. So I would always pray, like, God, make me obey you. God, make me obey you. But Holy Spirit just had me to a point where you need to pray for the fear of the Lord, because it's reading in the Bible is just like, those that fear the Lord do this, those that fear the Lord do that. And it's like, God, I want to fear you, because when I fear you, I know I'm gonna stop messing around. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop half stepping. So just looking at the decisions that even the first disciples had to make. They had to make a decision between their career, what they've been solid in, and the unknown. And they literally chose the unknown. And literally Jesus walked with them, taught them, and allowed them to be literally fishers of men. And it's just amazing to me. That choice that they made literally changed the trajectory of everything. Like, their whole life moving forward. They're a part of history. They're literally their names are in this book where we learn from them. The choice that they made in that moment changed their whole life forever in a way that they never thought would happen. The next story I want to talk about is Jesus at the cross. So Matthew 26 verse 42. Matthew 6 verse 42 says, Then Jesus left them a second time and prayed, My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done. When when he returned to them again, he found them sleeping, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. And this is when he went to God, and he was just like, he was about to go to the cross. Jesus was about to go to the cross, and he was just like, God, I don't want to do this, but let your will be done and not mine, or whatever. So that just goes to show that he had a choice. And God, Jesus could have smite every one of them. He could have, I ain't going on this cross. I ain't doing it. But literally, he made the choice to leave heaven, leave paradise, and come walk this earth, this ghetto earth, get this persecuted, all for the sake of us, all for the sake of his brothers and sisters, his children, all for the sake of, to save humanity. You know what I'm saying? He made a choice to leave heaven, leave paradise. Jesus was in paradise at the right hand of the Father, like chilling, good stuff, to come down into this earth, come in flesh, endure what he endured, be literally beaten and bruised and lied on, and all this type of stuff for us, for the greater good. He made the choice to endure all of that for the greater good of us. And I really want to commission all of us to take inventory of the choices in which that we have to make in life, because a lot of the places that we are in right now is due to a choice that we have made, whether it was a choice to obey God or it was a choice to disobey God. And I just want you guys to take inventory and just think about the choices in the past that you were presented with, and the decisions that you decided to make, and the choices that you are being presented with now, and pray over the choices that you will be presented with in the future, because we know throughout our life we will constantly be placed and be presented with choices. So I want to just really urge you guys to be mindful of the choices in which you have to make. They're not going to be easy. Not all of the choices that you make in life are going to be easy. But I want you to stand on what fruit will each choice produce. And I want to end with Deuteronomy 30, starting from verse 19 going. I want to read the whole thing to you guys just to wrap up everything that the Lord is saying today. It says, Deuteronomy 30 verse 15, my bad, going to verse 20. And actually I want you guys to read all of the verses that I mentioned, but specifically please go and read Deuteronomy 30. And this is after God literally presented to the people of Israel through Moses, like the curses of obedience and the blessings of obedience, and the curses of disobedience and all that type of stuff, right? So he says, and the title of this is Choose Life or Death. And I'm gonna read the whole thing to you guys. Y'all got time. I'm gonna read the whole thing. 30 starting from verse 11. Deuteronomy 30 starting from verse 11. This command I am giving to you today is not too difficult for you to understand. It is not beyond your reach. It is not kept in heaven so distant that you must ask, who will go up to heaven and bring it down so we can hear it and obey it? It's not kept beyond the sea so far that you must ask, who will cross the sea to bring it to us so we can hear it and obey it? No, the message is very close at hand. It is on your lips and it is in your heart so you can obey it. Now listen, today I am giving you the choice between life and death, between prosperity and disaster. For I command you this day to love the Lord your God and to keep his commands, decrees, and regulations by walking in his ways. If you do this, you will live and multiply, and the Lord your God will bless you and the land you are about to enter and occupy. But if your hearts turn away and you refuse to listen, and if you are drawn away to serve and worship other gods, then I will warn you now that you will certainly be destroyed. You will not live a long and good life in the land you are crossing the Jordan to occupy. Today I give you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying him, and committing yourself to him firmly. This is the key to your life. And if you love and obey the Lord, you will live long in the land that the Lord sworn to give your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I don't want you guys to think about this so far removed that God is talking to the people of Israel. Oh, he took them from Egypt and he's telling them that they need to pick life or death. They need to pick to obey him or worship other gods. We need to understand that we are still those people, okay? And like we talked about in the last episode, we do have other gods. Our other gods may not look like Ashtaroth poles, and they may not look like carved up trees, although sometimes they do, but they may look like different things. We're presented with different things in life, such as social media, that can be our god, money, love, other loving other people, having other people rather, for being our gods, just other things that we're presented with, okay? And God is saying, like, I give you today, I literally commission you today to choose life or death, to choose to love me as your God, or to choose to love these other things as your God. I'm giving you the opportunity to choose between prosperity or destruction. I'm giving you the opportunity to choose between life and death. I'm speaking to you. I speak to you daily. I speak to you through my word. I speak to you through people, through, the social media posts that you see online. I need you to make a decision today. Choose today who you will serve. We have to make a choice. And in the book of Revelations, I believe it says that you were neither hot nor cold, so I spit you out of my mouth. Just think about that. These are not the times for us to be straddling the fence. These are not the times for us to be like, all right, I'm gonna choose God today, and tomorrow I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna choose God today, and I'm gonna allow my temptations of my flesh to overtake me tomorrow. You get what I'm trying to say? Today we have to make that choice. Are we going to allow God to be the Lord and Savior of our life, or are we going to continue to make the choice to fall victim of our flesh? Are you gonna take on the word when it says that you are more than a victor, that you are more than a conqueror? Or you're going to choose to live in your victim mindset? The word says that when you come into Christ, you are a new creature, okay? Let the word transform your mind now. Allow yourself to be a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, so that then you can understand his perfect and pleasing will for your life. You get what I'm trying to say? It's some choices that you may be called to make that will be very, very hard. Trust me, I understand. But choose life. Choose what God is telling you to do. You don't want to continue to choose death, okay? You got to understand that we are only travelers traveling through this land. We're literally living for the next life. So choose God, okay? Things that are temporary, things that are presenting itself to us now are temporary. The things that are feeding your flesh, the things that is calling upon your name right now is temporary. Look into what direction it is calling you to, okay? Because one choice could literally change the trajectory of your life, whether for good or whether for bad. Look at the first example, Adam and Eve. Literally, she chose to eat from the tree of good and evil, and that is when sin entered the world. So I just commission you guys to really take inventory of the choices. Be aware of the choices that God is calling you to make on today, and for the rest of your life rather. And I just pray that you this podcast really challenges you to be aware of the choices that you're making. And I just pray that you make the choices that God needs you to make. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I pray this episode blessed you. I pray that you are mindful of the choices that you're about to make, and you are going to God about every decision and every choice that you are presented with. That's all I have for you guys today. I'll talk to y'all later. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm about to quickly and go edit this. It's not much editing because you guys were kind of like with me, and I kind of like every time I paused, I went and I cleaned it up a little bit. So I'm going to go hurry up and edit it, finish editing it, write up the notes real quick. I have some notes already in my notebook, so I'm just going to transfer it onto my computer. And then that's pretty much it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this live podcast. Interview, not interview, but podcast recording. I just pray to God that there be many more. You guys know, in editing these things is a hassle. So I am gonna try to post this up today or the same day that this podcast goes up. Not making promises, so it most likely might be up on Thanksgiving. And if you are watching this on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And that's all, folks. I'll talk to y'all later.